Today we're going to concentrate on the developer version of APL64. And the document that we're going to follow is available right in APL64. It's under the developer version, and it's called the developer version, the quick start. I have that on the right, and when you open the document, there's a little chart that shows the basic areas of the main window of the developer version. So these three the regions are not always shown. If there is no function or expression being debugged, then the debugger area is not shown. If there are no variables or functions being edited, then the editor's pane is not being shown. But the history pane is always being shown. So you can see on the left that I've opened up the APL64 the developer version, and it's got the history section. And the first thing to know is that there are various formats to the history, and you can select those here. And I'm going to use the classic format. I'm sure the majority of you are familiar with that. It's very similar to what's in the APL+Win. And because I've chosen the classic format, there are a few options that are available in the classic format. One, are you going to use it in scratchpad mode? Is it going to be editable? In APL+Win it is, so I've selected that here. Do you wish to show syntax coloring? That's up to you. The command line is an option in APL64. If you don't want to use that, you can turn it off. The main consequence of that is that if you want to use multi-line statements, you'd have to use diamonds. If you allow the command line, then you can enter the multi-line statements one after the other. That's about it. So here we are. The very basic thing to understand is that there's a few things you may want to turn on or else turn off. So for example, tooltips. If you don't like tooltips or you want to select the various options for tooltips, here they are here. So I've selected the all tooltips, but you could select none or just tooltips on the toolbar or tooltips on the toolbar and also menu items. So here's the menu items and here's the tooltips. All right. As far as value tips, they're always on. So if you create a variable here and you hover over it, you'll see the tooltip. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about APL, the executable statements. So let's suppose that we have a simple problem that we want to determine the present value of, say, let's say 5 payments, with the first payment starting immediately. So we would enter in a little the APL expression. Here it is, and we go in and execute it. Okay, but suppose we wanted to see what the payments actually looked like. Okay, what the individual present value, the calculations looked like. So we would scroll up and be editing the actual text. This is, I'm sure for APL+Win users, you're very familiar with that. And then if the line, same thing occurs as in the APL+Win. Now, suppose that you decided that you wanted to delay the first payment, so you'd go in and change it that way. Okay, so executing APL statements in the classic format uh, of the history pane looks essentially the same. All right. There's a slightly different thing that occurs here in APL64. Suppose we execute a very simple statement. Okay, and of course we see that the result looks good, but sometimes in APL+Win, the user can go in and go in and make a change. Well, if 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 you were to click the enter key here, then of course the result would be there. Okay, but on the other hand, if 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 uh, if you don't click the enter key, and before you haven't clicked the enter key, there's a little glyph on the left-hand side which indicates that this line has been edited but not executed. Okay, so that's a little tiny change. The other change is that there is highlighting here for the line which contains the keyboard focus, so you should see that. A couple of other things that are slightly different you might find useful. Let's create an array. Let's say 10, 10, quad A, and let's display it. And in terms of the selections, if I use for example, the shift and the arrow keys, I can do a selection here. I will copy that and then I can paste it there. But in APL64, you can also use the shift and the left alternate key, and you can select a rectangular block. I can copy that, and then I can paste that. For function editing, this is very handy sometimes. So you can consider that. Let's see. The debugger is set up in APL64 in a default way. It's controlled here. If you go into the session and take a look at debug, okay, so if we want to see the debug to toolbar, fine. This is an option which we set up in a default way, that the debugger is only shown if it needs to be shown. It's possible to change that if you uncheck this, then you can check the other button and say, yes, I'd like to have it. I'd like to have it visible. Okay, so let's go in and actually try that. Let's create a very simple function, and we'll make it over here. We'll put a stop here. Very good. We'll save it to the workspace, and then we'll come down here and we'll execute it. So the debugger the opens, and again, when you first start using APL64, there are various defaults. So I've now changed those defaults to split the screen in a way that I like. So you can use the splitter to move it up and down. The debugger then takes up this portion, and the history and the editor's pane are here. You can also adjust all of this way too. Okay. So the other thing about I'm going to minimize this shortly here. The other thing about the debugger pane is that you can float these things. So you can float the two of them by using the left mouse and dragging them off. And when these things do float, the debugger pane shrinks. If you want to put those back to docking, you can use this, or you can go out to the session, and you can go to the debug area, and you can use this option, dock them. Okay. So the usual things occur here. You can halt step through. This is only a single line function. I'll click the F10, and that's the end of it. It shows the result. Okay, so let me go back to that little document there if I can. Here we are. All right, let's go into a few things with the object editors. In APL64, there are three ways to edit objects. There are functions and as far as variables, but variables have actually two options. I'll explain those shortly. If we want to edit a function, we can also use things like just like that to say, I'd like to open a brand new function. Now, the way these function editors are displayed, you can control here in the Objects menu. So go down to Objects, go down to Editors pane format, and various ways to display them. Okay, I have them tiled horizontally. Okay, there's a number of the other options here that when you have time you can study. Okay, and these are also floatable. So using the left the mouse button, I can float them. I can dock them back again, and if I want to dock them all, I can go out to the objects and dock all of it. I can also float them here. I can also float them here by doing a right click float, and they will also float. I can float them all if I change the editor's pane format. And the thing about these, currently I'm only showing a single screen, but I normally use a couple of screens. And in this case, I can drag these to the other screens. All right. So, and I can also dock them this way. Okay. I can, if they're floating, I can go in and actually drag them, and a little glyph will appear in the area, and so I'm going to go in and I'm going to dock them there. All right. Let's see. There's a lot more of the info that you can check in terms of the developer version, the editing the objects. We won't have time today to go through all of these things, but there's a number of specialized documents. Okay, in terms of variables, let's go, and we have our variable x here. Let's go in and the edit the variable x, and the selection, the options apply, all of that. Now this is a very shallow variable, this variable x. Let's go in and actually change it. Just go in and create a little bit the the different variable. And then let's put into y into the first element. Let's put in something. I think I've mistyped there. Yeah, I should have put my other glasses on. Here we are. All right. So you can see y is now a little bit more complex. Let's go in and edit y. And you can see that now we have depth. So if I go into there, I can edit this as text. I have an option to go to the higher level. Okay. And when things are scalars, they can be directly be edited here. Okay. So depending on the actual depth, you can go down to whatever depths that APL64 supports. So this means that you can be using this editor. You can edit the variables that are of rank that is greater than 2. There's a special the editor in APL64 for the variables that are of rank 2 or less. That's the spreadsheet style, the editor. So let's go in and create this the variable. Instead of editing it in this editor, we'll go in and we will edit it here. We'll use the EDSS or spreadsheet style editor. We'll edit Y, and this opens in a separate window, and it looks the same as Excel. You can go in and edit whatever you want to do here. This has additional options. You can be importing additional worksheets, and if those worksheets contain actions that you can perform those when you if you Control E here and examine the variable, you can see the Y. You can see the various changes that were actually made. So that that's the third type of the edit. Let's see what we have next here. And I think I've covered just about that. There's another feature in APL64 when it comes to the function editing. In APL64, we have a feature called the non-destructive the editing. So let's be clearing this up just a little bit, and you can see in here that we've created this function. Okay, and if I were to do a Control Z, okay, you can see that I'm doing a bunch of Control Z's. If I do a bunch of Control Y's, those various changes, they can be reversed. If I do a Control E, and then I examine the functions here, and I re-edit it. This is not like in APL+Win. In APL+Win, if you closed a function and then reopened it and tried Control Z, you would find that you cannot reverse those changes. That's because it's a destructive the editing. In APL64, it is non-destructive. So that if you save a function in the workspace or if you save that workspace and then reload it, it is possible to uh, to the previous edits are still there. If you don't want this, there's an object here, uh, function editing change records. You can turn that off. Okay. There's another there's another change to APL64 editing of functions. There's a compare pane. So if we click compare here, it'll be very similar to, if you know anything about Visual Studio, you'll find it's very similar there. That there's that the as you make changes, it will show what the original function they actually look like. So uh, these are the various changes. Okay, so if if at some point you say, okay, I want to accept and say that all these changes are going to be permanent. Okay, that is the commit the operation. So if you commit, then it says that history is no longer going to be saved. So okay, but if I then do a Control E and go back to edit it, and I go out to the compare format, and I start to make changes now, that will show the changes as they are being made. Okay, and if I Control E again, and then I edit that because, and go back to compare, because I haven't committed those the various changes, those can be undone again. Okay, so that's little nice features as far as the APL function editor. I hope you enjoy them. Let's see what else we have here. I mentioned the Excel. I mentioned the floating and the docked panes. The move to the selected pane. Let's open up this function. If I use Control Tab, I I can move to the history or whatever is open. So if you have the debugger and the state indicator, that those will also be shown. Find and replace. Yes, this is a little bit different. If you recall, uh, we these panes, these editors, they can be floated, and so in APL64, if the focus is in this function editor, then the find and the replace the dialogue is in here. This is because this might be on some other screen or whatever. So if I want to find 10, I can go in and search for it. I can use the F3 and the Shift F3 and all those keystrokes. If I don't want and in APL64, when there's text that's been found in the pane that has the keyboard focus, all of the finds, all of the matches are actually highlighted. If you want to revert to the APL the 64 mode, then in APL64, only the current find is highlighted. Then you can go in and actually check that here. Okay. If on the other hand you decide to do a find in this dialog here in the history pane, then the find will disappear from here, and you can go in and perform finds here. Okay. So that's a little bit different, but but I think it works well, especially considering uh, the option to float panes. Uh, the documentation here, the main area to get the user documentation is here. But there are there's a couple of other options. In APL the 64, some of the system functions have documentation summaries. So for example, quad Excel, I'm sorry, I mistyped. There we go. Oops. Quad Excel. It will show a small summary. So you can also, of course, if you're using, let's say, quad Excel or a system function, or a system command, or a primitive function like a plus or times or whatever, you can use the F1 key. So suppose we put the cursor on the Excel and we hit F1, it'll open up in the browser. I have it on a different screen here, but I'll, I'll bring it over. And because the quad Excel is quite extensive, there's a link to the very detailed stuff here. So you can go in and do all of that. So like I said, there's various ways to get the user documentation. The keyboard definition. Uh, uh, there's a utility here called keyboard the definition. There's a little warning here that says, of course, it's going to, if you decide to change it, the developer version has to restart. Okay, and as far as the on another screen in my case, the real basic stuff is here. These are the ones that we currently support. If you want to support the other ones, you should contact us and we can uh, 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 be discussing that and get that squared away. All right. In terms of colors, if you wish to change the colors, again, it's opening on my third screen here, so I'll bring it over. So if you want to change the colors, you need to clone the defaults. So I'm going to clone it, and then you can make the various changes. It shows the defaults here, so you can go in and change it, or you can double click. And if you decide to keep those, then you can be exiting and retaining. If you want to abandon them, then that's fine. The other option is you can also have color sets. So you can have a color set for job A and a color set for job B or whatever you want. So you can see here, I've created two. I could create 3, 4, 5, or whatever. All right. So I'm going to use the as far as defaults here. Let's see. Keyboard to definition. The multi-line. So let's put this away temporarily. Let's get rid of this here. And the traditional the traditional way to do the multi-line statements in APL+Win is to do something like this, using diamonds. Okay, and so that's and of course you can use the Force debugger to perform all of that. The other way is to turn on the the to turn on the command line, and so then you can do this. You can go x gets iota 10, and hit the control key or hit the plus key, and then you can type in x minus 3 or whatever you want, and you can beat the all right. So let's see. So I'll go back to our default format here. All right, I think that is the end of that document. And we're just about out of time, so I wanted to show just a couple of things so you know they're there. In the options, there is a session log, okay, and you can set those session log objects. You'll be able to study this on your own, and there's a comprehensive document about the our session log. Okay, so you can you can find it here. Let's see what else. Yes, the autosave. So the autosave. I gotta move it over to the screen. Here it is. The autosave. If you turn it on, it's active. And the autosave will autosave functions and or variable content to your user folder, and it do that at intervals. You can use this goes down to, I think, a single minute. You can specify the autosave location. You can autosave for functions and variables, and there are also the additional options. The by default, the autosave folder is in the user path folder. So there it is there. Okay. Let's see. Autosave. Oh yes. Let's suppose we create a variable 10 and just a bunch of text, and we want to fetch that. Control G has a number of additional options. So you over here there's the actual text here. If I enter an A, it'll change that. X, it'll reduce it. But I can also determine how the selection works here. This is just like an APL+Win. There's the maximum object size that you can set. It's extremely large. Let's see. So if I decide to bring in Y, it says sorry, it's not text. If I do a control G and I bring in X, fine. It'll bring it in. Let's see. Autosave. All right, I think that I'm going to stop here because this is the limit of time. So we'll go back to Sonia and also Tisa, and we will go to, as far as questions. I'll try to direct them to the appropriate team member, and we'll see. Of course, we may not be able to answer them all, and some might require additional